Welcome, and today we're visiting the fascinating topic of JOTS, which stands for just one of those things, or what's also known as DOP, which is disappearing object phenomena. So what does it actually mean? It's the disappearance or reappearance of a new object, or what's replaced object by a similar one. So for example, your keys go missing. Then they reappear a year later on a pillow in a completely different home. Or you have a TV remote and that disappears, so you buy a new one to replace it. And then of course that goes missing, and then you replace it again, and then none of these remotes are actually ever found ever. So let's have a look a little bit of the research into this topic. There's a lady named Mary Rose Barrington who actually examined about 185 cases with a total database of just about, I think it was about 570 in total. Dr. Tony Jinks, who is a psychologist and a parapsychology consultant in Australia, who I've met, lovely guy, he investigated 385 cases, and these people were, typically ordinary adults who had no parapsychological interest or belief at all. No one who says they got a sensitive gift or anything. So Dr. Jinks actually started his research because he had himself a missing cricket bat that appeared in his living room. So as well as that, he had an experience where a wallet vanished for a few days and then reappeared in a cupboard just seconds after being checked. So Dr. Jinks actually said in his research that there were consistent patterns across a lot of the cases that he had come across. And he ended up ruling out things like forgetfulness, memory errors, pranks, perceptual blindness as well. But he found that the most common jottled objects tend to actually be keys, wallets, cards, coins, even USBs, kitchen utensils and clothes. But most frequent ways that these objects seem to behave is usually when they disappear and reappear in the same location. But the thing is, the unexplained first-time appearances can also be another type of characteristic. Sometimes they're replaced with similar items as well, or there's even permanent disappearances too. So the type of behavioural patterns can also be that objects appear and then they're completely gone, and they actually don't ever fade, or it's not like a fading thing. So when they appear and reappear, it's physically there and physically not. If they do return, they do so also in the same condition. That's another thing. They also are objects noticed by one person, but then sometimes can actually be later verified by others as well. Another thing is also that poltergeist activity doesn't actually appear to happen at the same time as these when they're occurring as well, which is something quite interesting. Men and women both equally experience JOT phenomena, which is intriguing, and also it's usually adults that it tends to happen to, and it's from people from all walks of life, religious thoughts, belief system, education. It's all different types of people. So what can explain JOTs? Well, Dr. Jinks seems to think it kind of leans towards something which I believe is called a quantum conscious model, but it can also be about how maybe the consciousness works with how the brain is as well. But so if you're really interested in JOTs, it is a fascinating subject. Again, if you want to look further into it, Mary Rose Barrington, if you want to Google her, as well as Dr. Tony Jinks, and there'll be plenty of information there to further research your interest in JOTs.